Focus on developing yourself. Focus on developing your own mindset. The reality is, everything else can come after that. Focus on evolving your own thoughts, the way you plan, how you believe in yourself, what you want to offer this world, and who it is you want to help. The money, the notoriety, it's all external. The real rewards in life come from within. They come from within yourself, they come from within your neighbors, they come from within your community. The real challenges in life are also inside, but so are the greatest treasures. So the next time you plan something you want to change, just remember it's going to take self-commitment, humility, hunger. The vision that you have for this world, the change you intend to bring, it has to be bigger than you, than me, than this. The importance of your vision has to be greater than air itself. What in this world are you willing to put before yourself? What has such importance that you would put before your next breath? Is it a child, a spouse, a sister, a brother? Or is it a cause, a legacy that maybe others will adopt? What is it? Is it the environment? Is it art, your community, your nation, clean air, clean water, civil rights, building walls, building bridges? Whatever it is, remember that it starts with developing yourself.
A pleasant day to each and everyone. Before we start, I would like to introduce myself. I am Sergeant Vienasian P. Orina, Philippine Army Reserve. I took a course of Bachelor of Elementary Education major in Enhanced General Education at PSU Santa Maria campus. I am a registered professional teacher year 2019 and I also have 2 years experience in teaching. Classroom rules. Phone must be turned off or set in silent mode to avoid interruption during our session. Gaming is not allowed. You are instructed to pay attention. And it's better for you to jot down for you to use it as your reviewer. When nature calls, go to the restroom. If you feel sleepy, stand and do some exercise. Safety precautions. If unexpected earthquake happen, please do the 3 safe rules. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of fire, immediately go to the fire exit. Values development. Objectives. To become self-independent individuals. Recognize, accept, and internalize their roles in decision-making. Develop higher awareness of ethical, moral, and conscience in order to act accordingly. And handle various moral and ethical issues in society. Take responsibility and build a good character. Attention! At the end of the lesson, you are expected to answer questions, so be attentive and take note. Scope of the lesson: self-development, values education, forces that shapes contemporary values, theories of values formation, ethics and moral education, morality and our conscience. Definition of terms. Moral refers to human behavior, where morality is the practical activity. Ethics describes the theoretical, systematic, and rational reflection upon that human behavior. Values are linked to beliefs, attitudes, and guide human behavior. Mind plus body is equal to self-development. Self-development is a process of consciously improving oneself in various aspects of his or her life. In every progress, mind is very vital to affect the body. Sabi nga, in every hardships, mind over body lang yan. And body naman ang taga-execute if what does mind think or wanted to do. Self-development and personal growth is a lifelong process which enables you to assess your abilities, to set goals, and then take action to help you to achieve those goals and to maximize your potentials. We are all a lifelong learners until the day of our death. So, may tatlong segments ang self-development. First is skill enhancement. Secondly, mental conditioning. And thirdly, habit creation. How does these three segments contributes to self-development? So, in skill enhancement, nililinang nito yung personal or sariling kakayanan ng isang tao, abilidad at competencies. It covers yung interpersonal and personal skills ng isang tao. Pag sinabing interpersonal, it has something to do how we communicate, lead, and interact socially sa ibang tao. While yung personal naman is how do you manage yourself, goal setting mo, how to solve problem, time management, and stress management. Next is the mental conditioning. From the words itself ay maintindihan natin. May iba't iba tayong way ng mental conditioning. For example, sa akin, pag sunod-sunod yung paperwork then activities sa school, first, kinukondition ko muna ang utak ko at nagsiset ako ng goals. I empty my mind. No-organize ko ang mga gagawin ko. At bago ko gawin ang mga bagay, I make sure din na maayos ang working table ko kasi pag magulo kasi yung mesa ko, hindi ako makapag-concentrate and I always have motivations like self-treat pag natapos ko ang trabaho ko. So, alam ko mayroon tayong iba't ibang mental conditioning. This helps building and strengthening the minds. Inaalaw nito na mapanatili yung positive focus natin sa mga goals and objectives through imagery, visualization, and other techniques. It also increases our self-image, self-esteem, at self-confidence. Whenever you condition your mind, nafe-feel mo yung relaxation kasi it reduces the tension and anxiety, lalo na kung sabay-sabay yung trabaho or task. And also, it improves performance. Kung mayroon tayong concentration and focus to avoid mental exhaustion, maraming tao ang nakararanas nito. Yung pagod na yung utak nila, then bigla-bigla na lang silang umiiyak. But it's normal. Kailangan lang ng motivation, relaxation, and time management, as well as self-management. Lastly, habit creation. Ito naman yung mga madalas nating gawin, kaya nga habit. These usually direct our actions, reactions, decision-makings, and even our thoughts. Yung pag-create ng positive habits ay makatutulong din yun to develop a more productive at ma-improve yung buhay ng isang tao. Isipin na lang natin kung walang positive habit creation, ano na lang ang mangyayari sa isang tao? Magiging wasting time na lang ang oras niya because of unproductive habits at wala nang self-development na nangyayari kasi negative habit creation yung ginagawa niya. Next, the process of self-development. So, andito yun, discovery, actualization, mastery, development, then, ikaw yung nasa gitna. You. Let's see the concept of how on becoming you. Kasi, are you familiar with the word envy at yung walang originality? So, in order to get us out in that kind of mentality, we should discover ourselves, come into our own senses or self-realization, self-mastery, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, self-development, and improvement. In order daw na maging satisfied ka is don't look to other people's possession, title, awards, attitude, way of life, and even styles kasi dito ka matatalo. We have individual differences and state of life. Ang dapat mong tignan ay ang sarili mo. Sarili mo lang dapat. Madalas kasi hindi nakikita ng isang taong worth and its own potential because he or she is busy focusing on what others do or have. So, self-discovery gives you insight into what you want to do or the person you want to become. Then you begin on your actual steps in improvement process by assessing or examining your skills, talents, and competencies. Ano ba yung kaya mo, talento, at mga kakayanan mo? Papasok naman ngayon si mastery, which is the self-assessment, wherein nagagather ka ng mga information about sa iyo. At pag sinabi kasing assessment is inaalam mo, sinusubok or sinusukat mo yung kabuuan or importansya kung to what extent yung kaya mo lang at hindi mo kaya. Then lastly, development that will enable you to set and reach your goals. Pag nag-improve na yung performance mo, ma-achieve mo na rin yung self-confidence mo that will lead to being happier and feeling more fulfilled in life and reach your full potential. Tips for self-development. Like and value yourself as a person. Be able to make decisions and assert yourself. Recognize your strengths and weaknesses. Get out to your comfort zones. Always meditate before the day ends. Set goals and seek spiritual guidance. Know yourself and seek self-improvement. How does value education happen? Values education is the process by which people give moral values to each other. Example of values education in the Philippines, edukasyon sa pagpapakatao, or ESP, aims to cultivate and develop the ethical character of students. So, there are three levels of values education. First is the classroom level, wherein sa curriculum ay may ESP or edukasyon sa pagpapakatao. Next is the school level, wherein nagkakaroon ng philosophy ang bawat school and how it inculcates the values on every students. Also, religious education or programs. And lastly, the community level na kung saan nandito yung home, church, and community activities to help instilling values among the people. The version of values education here in our country is the ESP. At may mga iba't iba namang version ang values education sa ibang bansa. So dito sa ESP, tinuturo dito yung mga fundamental foundation of skills and actions toward common good with accountability. Ang ESP ay nag-i-aim na gabayan ang bawat estudyante na makita ang kahulugan ng buhay, his role in the society in building truth, kalayaan, hustisya, at love. But of course, to attain this, dapat mayroon siyang 5 basic skills, which is understanding, reflection, consultation, decision, and action. Forces that shapes contemporary values. The Filipinos of the last quarter of the 20th century are the sum total of social strains and cultural elements that are ETA, Indonesian, Malaysian, Hindu, Arabian, Chinese, Spanish, Americans, and Japanese. In short, the Filipinos are cosmopolitan in nature. They are both Oriental and Occidental. Spain introduced Roman Catholic, the encomienda, the galleon trade, fiesta, parochial, school, municipal building, village plaza, compadre system. American introduced education, democratic system of government, English language, new ideals pertaining to family, economy, government, education, religion, recreation, health, and wealth, values of materialism and consumerism. So, sa Spain muna. Spanish influence found its way into our religious, political, economic, and educational life, as well as into our language, dress, and diet. And dun naman sa American, influences the Filipinos from being an Oriental or makasilangan to Occidental or Westerns. Inconsistency and conflict of values. So, meron tayong tinatawag na COP. Ano ba tong COP? Cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, or the behavioral. Values are not called full values unless they go through the cognitive, affective, and behavioral process. Una, isipin mo, pagkatapos sa puso mo, which is yung konsensya, andun din sa affective. And then, behavioral or psychomotor, isa sa gawa. So, cognitive, dito ka nag-iisip. Affective is your feelings and even conscience, while behavioral acts and are the one who executes the value. Theories of values formation. Immanuel Kant. Hypothetical and categorical goods. Yung theory ni Immanuel Kant ay malaki ang impluensya sa moral philosophy. He thought of moral value as a unique and universally identifiable. Pag sinabing identifiable, it means nakikita. It is more than an absolute value rather than relative value. Pag sinabi namang absolute value ay perfect. And relative value naman ay meaning na ikukumpara sa iba. Hypothetical goods has something to do or linked in theories, while categorical goods is definite or clear. Kay Carl Rogers naman, conception of self. He is humanistic psychologist, meaning it focuses to a system of values and beliefs based on the idea that people are basically good and that problems can be solved using reason instead of religion. Si Carl Rogers ay nag-agree sa assumption ni Abraham Maslow, but he added that in order for a person to grow or mature, ay kailangan nito ng environment na magbibigay ng genuineness, meaning openness and self-realization. Next, acceptance and empathy. Pinapakinggan ka as well as naintindihan ka ng mga taong nakapaligid sa iyo. So without these relationships and healthy personalities will not develop as they should. Katulad din ng isang puno, it will not grow kung hindi ito naarawan at nadidiligan. Nakapaloob din sa conception of self ni Rogers yung self-actualization. So, nasabi ko na yun kanina, but I will still discuss it again here in the theory niya. Carl Rogers believed that humans have one basic motive that is the tendency to self-actualize. Tulad ng bulaklak na namumukadkad ng napakalaki, kung yung kondisyon ng paligid nito ay maayos. Ganun din sa tao na maaabot niya lang ang full potential nito kung yung paligid nito ay maayos. Pero sinabi niya din na unlike sa flower, ang potential ng bawat individual ay kakaiba or different. Tayo ay nahuhubog o umuunlad sa mga magkakaibang paraan na nakadepende sa personality natin. We become destructive only when a poor self-concept or external constraints override the valuing process. So, dapat kung ano ang iniisip mo, ay ganoon rin na dapat mo itong isagawa. The fully functioning person, Rogers believed that every person could achieve their goal. Rogers identified 5 characteristics of the fully functioning person. Number 1, open to experience. Number 2, existential living. Pag sinabing existential living, being able to live and fully appreciate the present, not always looking back to the past or forward to the future. Number 3, trust feelings. Feeling, instincts, and gut reactions are paid attention to and trusted. So, sa mga babae, talagang malakas yung instinct nila at mapagkakatiwalaan din madalas, di ba? Number 4, creativity. Creative thinking and risk-taking are features of a person's life. A person does not play safe all the time. Number 5, fulfilled life. So, gets niyo na yan pag sinabing fulfilled life. Yung hindi na kayo maghahanap ng iba. At satisfied na kayo kung anong meron kayo. Next is the personality development, perceptions and beliefs about oneself. So, mayroong tatlong component ang self-concept. Number 1, self-worth or self-esteem. Number 2, self-image or how do you see yourself. Number 3, ideal self, meaning this is a person who we would like to be. Positive regard and self-worth. Si Carl Rogers also viewed the child as having two basic needs, positive regard from other people and self-worth. There are two types of positive regard. Take note yung positive regard. First, unconditional positive regard is where parents and significant others accepts and love the person for what he or she is. Okay. Katulad ng parents, dapat mahal niya yung anak niya. Or, mahal niya yung anak niya dahil anak niya ito. Hindi ito pwedeng bawiin, even if the person does something wrong or makes a mistake. So, kahit na nakakagawa tayo ng mga mali, hindi ka pa rin pwedeng, or hindi pa rin pwedeng sabihin ng magulang na hindi ka na niya anak. So, kahit na nagagawa kang mali, anak ka pa rin niya. Ganon. Secondly, conditional positive regard is where positive regard, praise, and approval depend upon the child. For example, behaving in ways that the parents think correct. Hence, the child is not loved for the person he or she is, but on condition that he or she behaves only in ways approved by the parents. So, yung conditional positive regard naman, hindi ka mamahalin ng magulang mo dahil sa anak kanila. Mamahalin ka lang nila pag maganda yung ginagawa mo. So, ganun yung conditional positive regard. From the word condition, may kondisyon. Next, ethics, moral, and conscience. So, yung ethics, moral, and conscience, isa lang yung pinopoint out nila. Yung values. Ethics is the science of the ideal human character or the science of moral duty. Ethics seeks to resolve questions of human morality by defining concepts such as good and evil, right and wrong, virtue and vice, justice and crime. Ethics means tuntunin sa moralidad. Ito ay branch of philosophy na kinabibilangan ng pagsasaayos, pagtatanggol, at pagrerekomenda ng mga konsepto o kuro-kuro sa tama at maling pag-uugali. There are three major areas of study within ethics recognized today. Number 1, meta-ethics. Ito yung theories, sanggunian, at mga paksang pangmoral. Number 2, normative ethics. Tinutukoy naman dito yung mga praktikal nakahulugan sa pagtukoy ng moral na aral sa pagkilos. Number 3 is applied ethics. Tumutukoy naman ito sa kung ano ang obligadong o pinahintulutang ikilos o gawin sa tiyak na sitwasyon. Ano na ulit yung three major areas ng ethics? Number 1, meta-ethics. Number 2, normative ethics. And number 3 is the applied ethics. The word ethics is derived from the ancient Greek word ethikos. meaning relating to one's character. So, maraming kinds of ethics, but I will only just discuss the military ethics. Military ethics are concerned with questions regarding the application of force and the ethos of the soldier, and are often understood as applied professional ethics. So sa military ethics, sa war theory ay may sinusunod sila at nakabase din ito sa Geneva Conventions and Nuremberg Principles. Ito yung mga sumusunod na sinusunod ng military in times of war. Number 1, ano ang dapat na batas sa labanan? Number 2, makatwirang pagpapasimula ng military force. Number 3, desisyon sa kung sino ang maaaring targetin sa labanan. Sino ba yung dapat mong kalabanin lang? Or sino ba yung pwede mong barilin lang sa labanan? Pati ba civilian? Sasama mo ba ang civilian o yung rebelde lang? Mga ganon. Number 4, desisyon sa mga gagamiting armas at kung ano ang magiging epekto nito. Number 5, pamantayan sa paghawak o pagtrato sa mga military prisoners or prisoners of war. Number 6, mga paraan na may kinalaman sa mga paglabag sa batas ng digmaan. Next is the moral. Is a system of beliefs that is taught for deciding good or bad, whereas values are personal beliefs or something that comes within. Morality comes from Latin word moralitas, meaning manner, character, and proper behavior. Ito ay katawan o prinsipyo na nagmula sa code of conduct na nagmula naman sa isang particular na filosofiya, relihiyon o kultura o sa pamantayan ng isang tao na pinaniniwala ang katanggap-tanggap sa mata ng mga nakapaligid sa kanya. So, yung morality ay may particular na pagkakatulad sa goodness, which is kabutihan at rightness, pagiging tama. The role of conscience in this sense is not that of merely gaining knowledge about our behavior, character. The knowledge in question is typically the ground for moral assessment by conscience. So, sa conscience, are you familiar with the term small voice? So, pag sinabing small voice, yun yung sinasabi nilang ding na conscience. Ibang tawag nila sa conscience. Conscience is a cognitive process that elicits emotion and rational associations based on an individual's moral philosophy or value system. Conscience, konsensya. Pag sinabing cognitive process, nag-uumpisa ito sa utak, tama, na magkakaroon ng partition toward a matter. Pag sinabing partition, naglalaban ngayon yung utak mo. At yun nga, naglalaban yung bad and good. In short, yung konsensya ang naglilid ng pakiramdam or feelings ng isang tao when a person commits an act that conflicts with their moral values. Strengths and weaknesses of the Filipino character. Pakikipagkapwa-tao. Justice, fairness, and concern for others. Dito rin pumapasok yung word na pakiki-isa at yung bayanihan ng mga Pilipino. Ngayon, in times of calamity, that we stand as one as we also reach our kababayan who was greatly damaged by the disaster. Family orientation. Genuine and deep love for family, which include spouse and children, parents and siblings, but also grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, godparents, and others. Filipino family is really intact. At sa pagiging intact ng relasyon ng mga magkakapamilya ay usong-uso din sa pamilyang Pinoy ang extended family. Pag sinabing extended family, doon magkakasama yung yung magulang, yung anak, yung apo, yung mga tita at tito, mga pinsan, mga ganun. Joy and humor. Filipinos have a cheerful and fun-loving approach to life and its ups and downs. Open, playful, sometimes cynical, and disrespectful. We laugh at those we love and at those we hate, and we make jokes about our good and bad fortunes. Kung mapapansin natin, ang mga Pinoy ay hindi talaga nauubusan ng saya whatever the circumstances are. Kahit may mga pinagdadaanan tayo, natural na for us to still smile and laugh. Kaya gustong-gusto ng mga dayuhan ng mga Pilipino dahil alam nating ay alam nating i-manage yung sarili natin na kahit na may mga pinagdadaanan tayo ay andun na makikita na mayroon pa rin tayong joy sa mga mukha natin at hindi mahalata sa itsura natin na may mga problema din tayo. Next, flexibility, adaptability, and creativity. Filipinos have a great capacity to adjust and to adapt to circumstances and to the surrounding environment, both physical and social, and planned or unanticipated events are never overly disturbing or disorienting as the flexible Filipino adjusts to whatever happens. Make new things out of old scraps. Kaya din gustong-gusto tayo ng mga dayuhan, ang mga Pilipino, ay alam makipagsapalaran sa buhay. Easy to adopt culture and situation. Flexible din tayo dahil marami tayong kayang gawin. And also creative. Maraming inventions ang binili ng mga foreign countries sa mga Filipino. Inventors at nung panahon ni Marcos ay talagang kinikilala ang ating bansa as one of the most competent nation among Asian countries. Hard work and industry. Filipino have the capacity given proper conditions, the desire to raise one's in standard of living and to possess the essentials of decent life for one's family combined with the right opportunities and incentives make the Filipino work very hard. Faith and religiosity. Filipino have deep faith in God. Our innate religiosity enables us to comprehend and to genuinely accept reality in the context of God's will plan. Thus, tragedy and bad fortune are accepted, and some optimism characterizes even the poorest lives. Isa din ang mga Pilipino known to be the most religious country in the world. Extreme personalism. Filipinos view the world in terms of personal relationships, the extent to which one is able to relate personally to things and people to determine the recognition of their existence and the value given to them. Palakasan system. Extreme family-centeredness. While concern for the family is one of the greatest strengths, it becomes a serious flaw in the extreme. Excessive concern for family is apparent in the use of one's office and power as a means of promoting the interest in the family. So, kunwari, si Juan de la Cruz ay isang may mataas na tungkulin sa pamahalaan. Ngayon, yung kamag-anak niya ay mababa pa or wala pa siyang trabaho. Ngayon, dahil kamag-anak naman niya yun, tutulungan ni Juan de la Cruz yung kamag-anak niya. Para yung kamag-anak niya, umangat din sa buhay. So, ganun yung extreme family-centeredness. So, sometimes, nagiging negative yung family or extreme family-centeredness kasi nawawala na yung fairness. Hindi nagkakaroon ng pagiging unfair sa judgment or treatment sa mga tao. Next, lack of discipline. The Filipinos' lack of discipline encompasses several related characteristics. We have casual and relaxed attitude towards time and space, which shown in lack of precision and compulsiveness in poor time management, lack of standardization, quality control, palusot, niyas, kugon. So, hindi rin yung tinatawag naman niya na habit na pinagpapabukas mo na lang yung pwedeng gawin ngayon. And then yung Filipino time, yun yung madalas nating masabi, Filipino time. Pag sinabing Filipino time, laging late. So, we need to get out from that mentality. Passivity and lack of initiative. Filipinos are generally passive and lacking in initiative. One waits to be told what has to be done. Expect what the government can for us. So, tayo, tama nga yan, na wala tayong initiative. Lagi na lang, ano na yung kasabihan na, lagi na lang tinutuktok. Lagi na lang sinasabi kung ano yung gagawin mo. So, hindi na tayo nadadala ng mga instructions. Dapat paulit-ulit na lang na nire-remind tayo. So, as a citizen, wag mong antayin kung ano yung magagawa ng gobyerno para sa'yo. Kundi gawin mo ang magagawa mo para makakontribute ka sa gobyerno. Kasi hindi naman uusad or hindi naman magiging successful ang administration or the government without the participation of every individual or citizens of the country. Kaya dapat magkaroon tayo ng disiplina, most especially talaga yan, para magkaroon ng mag-upgrade naman yung country natin. And then also, hindi lang disiplina, dapat sumunod ka rin sa mga batas, rules and regulation ng government. Una, sumunod ka sa rules and regulation ng bahay nyo. Pangalawa, the community, yung sa barangay. Then, tumatas na yan from the municipal, province, and then to the national government. Para maging competent naman yung bansa natin. Hindi yung lagi na lang tayo nagrereklamo kung ano yung mga lackings ng government. Sa atin naman, puros naman tayo, wala naman tayong nai-contribute na ganun, or judge tayo ng judge, pero hindi natin makita yung sarili natin. Ganon. Next, colonial mentality. Filipinos have a colonial mentality which is made up of two dimensions. Number one, lack of patriotism or an active awareness, appreciation, and love of the Philippines. Number two, an actual preference to foreign things. So, colonial mentality, dahil nga siguro isa na rin sa effect ng colonialism ng Spanish and Americans and even other countries na pumupunta dito sa bansa natin noon ay nagkaroon na tayo ng colonial mentality. Just like, for example, now, maraming kabataan ngayon ang nag-idolize sa Koreans, mga K-pop fans, K-pop fanatics, mga ganun. And then, o kaya bumibili tayo ng mga products ng ibang bansa. Pero, yung sarili nating atin, hindi naman natin binibili. Or what do you call this? Parang, yun, basta hindi natin binibili or tinatangkilik. Hindi natin tinatangkilik. Kaya yung mga taga dito sa Pilipinas na mga businessman ay hirapan din. Katulad na lang sa agricultures. Dapat yung mga local agriculture product, yun yung tinatangkilik natin para umangat naman sa buhay yung mga magsasaka or mga agriculturists. Kasi nung panahon ni Marcos talaga is Tayo yung nagtuturo kung paano magsaka sa Vietnam. Tayo yung nagtuturo about the agriculture. Pero ngayon, tayo na yung bumibili ng bigas sa ibang bansa, tama, and other agriculture supplies, just like onions, mga um, hogs, ganun. And then, iba pa, mga material products. And also, colonial mentality din, yung mas inuuna mo pa ding pasyalan yung ibang bansa kaysa sarili mong bansa. So, dapat tangkilikin din natin yung local tourism ng ating bansa para naman mai-promote, diba? Next, kanya-kanya syndrome. Filipinos have a selfish, self-serving attitude that generates a feeling of envy and competitiveness towards others, particularly to one's peers who seem to have gained some status or prestige. Crab mentality, pag sinabing crab mentality, yung kakilala mo, kaya yung isang tao, umangat, ngayon, ang ginagawa mo ay hinihila mo siya pababa. Alam niyo yung yun yung ugali kasi ng mga crab. Pag nakataas na yung kasama nila, hinihila nila para bumaba ulit yung kasama nila. Tapos pag sila naman yung nakakyat, syempre ibababa din sila ng mga kasama nila. That is what crab mentality means. Chismis. Yan. Mahilig yan ang mga Pinoy. Pagchichismis. So, wala namang naibibigay na maganda yan. Yung pagchichismis sa ibang tao. Minsan pa nga, kinukulang or nasosobrahan yung sinasabi mo about sa isang tao. So, anong gagawin mo? Close na lang yung mouth, 'di ba? Next, intriga. Yan, masyadong intriga ang mga Pilipino din. Iwasan din natin yan para iwas din tayo sa gulo. And constructive criticism. Yan. Very popular yan or trend sa social media. Yung mga bashers, yung mga salita ng salita sa social media. Pero, hindi naman alam yung mga sides, di ba? In order for you na makapag-judge ng isang tao, dapat alamin mo yung side. Yung side ng kabilang party and then yung side ng kabila, di ba? Side ni letter A at side ni letter B. Ganon. Hindi lang yung titingin ka lang or umaayon ka lang sa kabilang side. Ngayon, may dalawang side and then mayroon ka ring side, di ba? Kaya iwasan natin yung criticism. Kasi hindi naman perfect ang tao. May mga imperfections tayo. Lack of self-analysis and self-reflection. There is a tendency in the Filipino to be superficial and even somewhat flighty. In the face of serious problem, both personal and social, there is lack of analysis or reflection. Iyan ang bigay ng Diyos, maporma. Wala namang ibubuga. So, sabi ko nga kanina, self-analysis and self-reflection. Huwag kang judge ng judge. Hindi mo nakikita. Dapat tignan mo rin yung sarili mo. Quotations. It's not hard to make decisions once you know what your values are. Roy E. Disney. Integrity and transparency is choosing your thoughts and actions based on values rather than personal gain. Anonymous. Conclusion. Enhancing every individual's motivation and engagement and foster human values and connectedness with personal and societal issues, moral ethics, and conscience are guides in which it will help every citizen to develop their personal and social being that will lead to a good life. Thus, these three elements will only have its effectivity when it is applied. Question. Assignment. In your own experience, how does the ROTC helps you enhance your self-development? Number 2, what is the importance and effects of morality? ethics and conscience in your daily life. God bless and mabuhay.